Have you ever walked into your doctor's office looking for some real answers, but only walked away with yet another prescription for more tablets? You really wanted some advice on nutrition, but the doctor seemed a little bit vague in answering your questions. I wonder why this dilemma is. Is it simply a matter of time? They haven't got time to talk about nutrition because they've got a waiting room full of people? Or is it that they have very limited knowledge and they're unsure about nutrition? In this video, I want to really dive into this question and to see if we can get to the bottom of it once and for all. And I'm going to share with you the shocking truth why doctors only prescribe pills and don't address nutrition or lifestyle. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to give you some practical suggestions that you can do to take charge of your health and get your doctor to face the issues that are really on your mind. So stay around for that. So welcome to this video. I really want to talk about why doctors simply have a pill for every ill, as it seems. When we're on Carnivore, we have an added problem that it's very common that doctors today don't support the carnivore diet and wanting to warn us about it and to advise us not to go on this. This is despite the fact that we've already said that they seem to have no knowledge of nutrition. Is this reluctance for them to give genuine advice about nutrition or lifestyle simply a lack of knowledge, or is there a deeper issue underneath? I remember going to my doctor, a doctor whom I thought was a good doctor, and I'd been seeing her for some number of years. And she told me one day that the results of my blood tests and x-rays show that I had a fatty liver, that I was pre-diabetic, that I was insulin resistant, and that I had a record high blood pressure. So I wanted to know why, but the only issue that she addressed that day was my blood pressure, and all she did there was to give me some blood pressure pills and told me to come back in 6 months. I left that day wondering, what about my fatty liver, and what about being insulin resistant, and why do I have high blood pressure, and why am I insulin resistant? Why am I pre-diabetic? These were all questions on my mind that were not addressed that day. All I was given was pills for blood pressure. Let me give you a number of reasons that I think this happens over and over again. First of all, we need to know that medical schools, medical universities where doctors are trained, rarely cover any content at all about nutrition. You ask most doctors and they'll tell you that their training in nutrition was maybe 20 hours at best in a 7-year study of medicine. It just wasn't really covered at all. You see, doctors are trained to do two things. They're trained to diagnose illness, and they can do tests and they can poke and probe and they can ask questions and give what your condition is a name. For instance, the doctor will tell you that you have diabetes, or that you have gout, or that you have heart disease, or whatever the name is. Doctors can give a name to your condition. They're good at that. They can identify the illness that you have through their training. The other thing that the doctor has is a very good working knowledge of what drugs are available for what illnesses. And so they put the two together. They can say, all right, you've got this, and the solution here is these tablets. So they match them up. So you go away with a tablet that only treats the symptoms and not the disease. The second reason they don't talk about nutrition or lifestyle is that they just haven't got time. Have you been to a doctor's surgery and seen the waiting rooms? The waiting room is usually chock-a-block with people. The doctor is running behind time. He schedules each patient for 10 minutes, 15 minutes if you're really lucky, but 15 minutes at best. And by the time he calls you in, he's already behind. He's already wanting to catch up on his schedule. And so he simply wants to know what your problem is and how he can treat your symptoms. And then he sends you on your way. He just hasn't got time to talk to you about your diet and about what you're eating and about what your lifestyle's like and what your sleep pattern is like and how much stress is in your life. None of those questions get put on the table. Prior to my present doctor, I can never remember ever once a doctor asking me what I eat when I went to see them. Never. It never happened. So all they've got time to do is to listen, to diagnose, and to write a script and tell you when to come back. And they call that medicine. But there's some more sinister reasons going on here. And that is the role of what we call big pharma, the pharmaceutical companies. And they are certainly a culprit in this question that we are probing into today. And we cannot answer this question without facing the issue of what big pharma does. Basically, big pharma makes drugs and they promote them to those who prescribe them, namely doctors. Would it surprise you to know that big pharma actively supports financially the whole of the medical field? In other words, big pharma makes their billions of dollars every single year by the fact that you are sick. If you get well, there is no money for them. They're not going to sell you a product that is going to make you well because there's no money in healthy people. There's only money in sick people. There's no money in dead people either. There's only money in sick people. And it is in their financial interest to keep you sick. And who is it that's funding so much of medical research today? So many of the medical schools that we know of are substantially funded by big pharma. They give out scholarships. And I even had my own doctor, not my present doctor, but a previous doctor, tell me one day that they receive financial incentives to prescribe drugs from big pharma. So that's a major issue. The influence of big pharma. Look, I'd go as far as to call big pharma organised crime. You look at the definition of what organised crime is. They are making money, billions of dollars. They did it in COVID, but they do it every year on every drug. Why is it that they want people with lower and lower cholesterols to take statins? Why do they want to bring the age and the limit down so that they can sell more of their drugs that are just not needed? So that's the third reason why a doctor is very likely to prescribe pills and not lifestyle to you, because of the influence of big pharma. And that influence, I cannot exaggerate how large and how significant it is and just how plain wrong it is. The fourth reason that a doctor is only going to prescribe pills instead of lifestyle and diet is that they can't rock the boat. I don't know whether you're aware of this, but doctors who rock the boat, that is to challenge the system, to challenge the mindset and the paradigm that they've been locked into since they were in medical school, to challenge that for a doctor is enormously risky. You think of Dr. Sean Baker, the king of Carnivore. He actually lost his medical license because he embraced the carnivore diet, and he spent hundreds of thousands of dollars of his own money to clear his name. That is the price that doctors can pay if they buck the system. And so if you want to be a good doctor, you want to get on, then you have to go along. And to go along is to keep prescribing the pills and not talk about real root causes, real solutions, genuine solutions like diet and lifestyle. The fifth reason might be, and this comes down to the patient, not so much the doctor, because often the patients themselves, they simply want a quick fix. You know, go to the doctor, look, give me the tablet and I'll get out of your road, I'll go home and I'll take my tablet and everything will be all right. Look, that's what we did for years. We simply did what the doctor said. Look, we can't do that anymore, folks. We've got a minefield of information on the internet that our previous generations didn't have. We've got to do our own research. We've got to do our own checking. Look, it's too easy just to take a pill and to do nothing about it. So many of my friends, so many of the people I know in my age group go to their doctor, they get a pill, and yet they keep eating processed foods and sugar and junk. They get no exercise, and they think that a pill's going to fix it, and it's the easy way out. They can just keep on. Everything goes on like it was before. Que sera, sera. Look, that is a terrible way to live, and you'll never get any better. You'll have a miserable old age. Your whole life will be filled with doctors and appointments forever until the day that you pass away. I don't want that for one. I want to take charge of my health, and you've got to do the same too. Not just take a pill. Find out what the root cause is. Find out what lifestyle and diet changes you can make to overcome that illness. So when you go to the doctor and they're peddling pills, what do? I would suggest you ask some questions. You see, when I went to my doctor and the doctor said, you have a fatty liver and you have high blood pressure, what I should have asked is why? Why do I have a fatty liver? Why do I have high blood pressure? Instead of just giving me a pill for the blood pressure, what could I do? What could I do in terms of diet and exercise and lifestyle that would bring my blood pressure down? Because you can certainly bring your blood pressure down and get over diabetes and reverse so many of these metabolic illnesses that we talk about today that plague us simply by changing your diet and your lifestyle. And your doctor ought to be telling you these things. And if your doctor's not doing that, challenge them and put them on the spot and say, what can I do? What are the practical things? Why did I get this thing in the first place? How do I reverse it? Tell me what I've got to do in terms of diet and lifestyle. And look, if your doctor's not prepared to answer that, get a new doctor. Find one that will talk about diet and lifestyle. Find a doctor who will take the time to explore what you're eating, what you're doing with your life, how much stress is in your life, what your sleep pattern is, your whole history. It'll take extra time. Maybe you've got to find a doctor that's got extra time and the insight and has done some further study to learn about nutrition to do that. I am so glad that such doctors exist today. I have found such a doctor myself, and it's just made all the difference in the world in going to see the doctor. They are out there. There are databases in your area, and you can look them up and find a better doctor who will address these issues. And look, if you're a doctor and all you're doing is writing scripts, look, I'm talking to you, doctor. For God's sake, go and learn about nutrition. Go and learn about lifestyle medicine and incorporate it into what you're doing. And if you don't do that and you're going to keep on peddling pills, get out of medicine. I mean, that's tough, but that's what I'm saying to you. Rock the boat if necessary, but treat your patients at the root cause and not at the symptoms, and become a doctor that's worthwhile in the world today that is really going to make a difference. There are a growing number of them, and I'm so glad they're about today, and I'm not at all blacklisting every doctor, because there are many great doctors who are involved in this, and I'm so thankful for that. But find one that is. So if you've had an experience with a doctor that was peddling nothing more than pills, share it with us in the comments below. In recent times, I've found a great doctor myself, Dr. A.V. Charlton, and she has been a godsend in so many ways, and I did an interview with her. If you missed that interview, I'll leave a link to it above. But look, thanks for watching today. Please join our Facebook group, The Carnivore Pensioner, and I will see you on the next video. Keep telling your story.